Hey everybody, welcome back to the Matt Report. As always, your host Matt, and today I just want to do a quick video about this article that I posted about a week and a half ago. Does Jetpack slow down a WordPress website? I ran this test sort of off the cuff. I saw some comments in a Facebook group of people saying, stay away from Jetpack. You're going to ruin your site or ruin your site ranking by using Jetpack, and it slows down your site, which has been a problematic branding for Jetpack for quite some time. Maybe when it first released, there was that issue, and I really feel like it's improving. And look, I'm not gaining anything by promoting Jetpack. That's for sure. I don't even think they retweeted this article when I put it out, so there's that. But the idea here is to just have a baseline test. Again, welcome to the wonderful world of the internet, where anybody's free to say anything and accuse anyone of writing clickbait articles like like this gentleman did, as if I'm trying to grow traffic by claiming these things for my website, which is ludicrous and not the case. But the point is some folks said, hey boy, you're using a SiteGround dedicated server for that test. How about we get down to regular Joe and Jane who might be using a shared hosting site? That's fine. This gentleman said go ahead and try something like a Grow Big package from SiteGround. So here it is. I'm here to please my audience. As always, I'm using the SiteGround Startup plan, which is the most affordable plan, a couple tiers down from the Grow Big, or maybe not. It's the upgrade to Grow Big. I can click that and upgrade to Grow Big. So I am on the most entry-level shared hosting plan for SiteGround, at least what I could find on the website for $4 a month. So Startup, that's what I'm using. I've set up the site in the same way where I use the same theme from the folks over at Foxland Themes, and I use the same testing plugins that I did in the original article to offset the feature difference. So basically what that was is if we go here, back to the original article, you can see the baseline test was with just the theme, no plugins activated. We get half a second. We activate Jetpack with no features enabled. We get to 0.6 seconds, and then we go from Jetpack with all features, 0.8 seconds. And then really what I was looking at is the size of the total page load. And that's it goes from 74 kilobytes with nothing to 137 with just Jetpack activated to 263 with all features activated. And then I said, well, what happens if we just take 3 features that somebody might use Jetpack for? Which again, these are just 3 of many features. There's 33 features in Jetpack alone. So I said, well, if you're going to use Jetpack for a gallery, the share buttons, and maybe the WordPress.com stats, because maybe you don't want to use Google Analytics, it's a super basic site, whatever. Let's use 3 plugins to put it in its place. And I went with the gallery plugin, the share buttons plugin by Add This, and then Google Analytics by Monster Insights. And that's how I came to the 614 kilobytes in 1.3 seconds over Jetpack, right? So in this test, it says that Jetpack is faster, right? In terms of activating these 3 plugins. And then you could make the argument of finding 3 more optimized plugins. I mean, it's endless. Then you could just end the day by saying, well, you could just code all these plugins and not use them. And the argument's endless. And same thing, it's no different with testing the server side of things. It'd say, well, we could try different hosting accounts. Some shared hosts are not optimized. I mean, it's endless, right? The argument and the point of view that you could have with this stuff. But here we go. So I got the site up and running on SiteGround's cheapest plan. I've already run all the tests, or almost all the tests. So here's the first test with just the theme activated. And I did what one of the commenters said, is they said, change the testing location to Dallas and use DSL speed, which again, I don't know how many folks are, at least in the US, again, you could make the argument that there's a global thing and not everybody has bandwidth, high bandwidth, whatever. The point is here we are with DSL speed, Dallas location versus the Vancouver location, and unmetered, which was the first test with GT metrics. Now, I believe the shared hosting servers for SiteGround are in Chicago, in the US. So now I guess this test would be going from Dallas to Chicago versus Vancouver to Chicago, which, I don't know, I guess might be faster in terms of the internet connection. I don't know how many hops it takes to get there, but this is really getting down to the nitty gritty. The idea is the requested page loads and all that stuff. So here we have it. Cheapest plan for SiteGround, Dallas, DSL. With nothing installed and activated in terms of plugins, 1.5 seconds. When we install Jetpack with its default features enabled, 4.7 seconds. So yes, a considerable jump, 3.2 seconds, right? And the request goes to 9, and the total page size goes from 51 to 70.4. But in this test, I'm thinking, okay, well, I think a reason for such an increase in load time is probably because it's going out to talk to WordPress.com stats, and it's sending that information back and forth, for lack of a better term or a way to phrase it. So I disable Jetpack stats on this round, leave all the other core features enabled, or default features of Jetpack enabled. We drop almost 2 seconds, right? 2.1. So we go from 4.7 to 2.6 with WordPress.com stats off. And I return to my original, one of my original tests, and I shut off Jetpack and I enabled the 3 plugins, Gallery, Add This, and Monster Insights. I now return to a 4.7 second load time, much larger page load speed, 323, and then 25 total requests. So now the last test that I'll do just to record it is I'll go ahead and activate all of the Jetpack features. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to return to adding site stats, related posts, comments, likes. And like I mentioned in my original article, I don't know how many people are actually turning all of this stuff on, but we'll do it anyway for testing's sake, right? We don't discriminate around here, except the holiday snow. I'm not going to turn on the holiday snow. There's a use case for somebody turning on everything, but not this holiday snow garbage. Video press, markdown. I believe that's all of them, right? So let's go double check. Security, engagement, and general. Okay, so that's all of the features. I'm going to open this up in a new tab, and I am going to click on retest. So we'll give that a second. So hopefully this gives some insight into one, does Jetpack really slow down your site? How much? And is it worth, whatever that difference is? So again, if you're using many features in Jetpack, and then you might look at, well, I might install 6 other plugins to get what I need to get done. Will those 6 other plugins add more, load time over Jetpack itself? So plenty of things to consider in that scenario. So here's the test results from activating all of that stuff. 3.8 seconds, 111 kilobytes, and then 12 requests. You can see that it actually went down from the original test in terms of page load time. Now, again, plenty of variables here. You could run, 3 tests each or 5 tests each. It's endless on how much you could test this stuff. But just to put it in some context, it doesn't look like it slows it down all that bad. Now, some people say Jetpack isn't good on the server side of things. There's, CPU is much more intense when Jetpack is activated. That might very well be the case. But again, I'm testing on SiteGround's cheapest plan, and I'm not even using any of the features here. Like I can go and put a gallery in and maybe load the gallery and see how that says. But from a baseline, this is just baseline testing. I don't see Jetpack to be that bad. Again, now I'm testing it on the cheapest SiteGround plan that I have. If you're looking for the cheapest shared hosting plan, you should be on SiteGround. I'm sure there are very, very bad shared hosting plans where Jetpack might not work well, like a HostGator or Bluehost. I mean, they're from what I hear, those are terrible. I used to use HostGator way back in the day. It was awful. My site shut off all the time. So yes, there are terrible shared hosting plans out there. So I don't know. This is either a testament to Jetpack or a testament to how well SiteGround shared hosting plan is. I don't know, but I figured I'd just add to this and add some commentary to it. Again, I'm not an engineer at any level. I'm just giving you how I know how to test these sites and how I look at it. I hope it helps in some way. It's mattreport.com/subscribe. Join the mailing list. And if you do enjoy entrepreneurial type stories, I host a podcast all about that. mattreport.com/iTunes, and you can find out more about that. Thanks, everybody.